Hello and welcome back. We're here with Darren Burke from Business Influence. Thank you for joining us today, Darren.
Thanks for having me, Karl.
No problem. So Darren's a business coach. He is a long-term mentor of mine. He's been instrumental in the particular startup phase of my business. I've known him for many, many years, and I consult with him on many, many things. So he's a chartered accountant. He's built and sold successful businesses, and for quite a long time now, you've had your own business helping SMEs, and that's your focus, I believe.
Absolutely.
So just getting into it, why did you start your business?
Okay, well, look, as Karl mentioned, I was a chartered accountant. I guess, being more of an extroverted personality, I struggled with wearing the corporate mask and sort of withholding my personality and being my authentic self. So the opportunity arose to break free. I'd always hoped to run my own business from when I was at uni. And so it's 20 years this year, Karl, that I've been running my own businesses, which is that time has just flown.
Absolutely. So getting into the questions, so what is the number one tip you would give to someone who is looking to start their own business?
Yeah, look, my number one tip for people starting off would be, in that startup phase, to double the lead time that you think you need to get traction in the market. There's always roadblocks, there's always obstacles, nothing as easy as a mate of mine always reminds me, outside of lotto and inheritance. Yeah. And the other thing in linking to the time is money. So double the cash burn that you expect. So if you're thinking about a 3-month or 6-month period, double that to 6 or 12. If your seed capital is 20 or 30,000, perhaps double that to 40 or 50. Now that may delay you from starting, and there may be occasions where the timing is required that you have to break free now because the moment's now. Yep. But generally speaking, most people are working or earning an income, and they're on the runway to doing that. Delaying that by 6 months or 12 months, unless it's a time-driven departure, you'll be better for that, because you don't need the stress of time and cash burn when you're in that phase. You've been through that, I've been through that. You need to be really, really comfortable that you've got that in hand so you can play your A game through that rocky road of that first 18 months to 2 years.
That is great advice, because things change.
Absolutely.
When you're starting out, most definitely. So that's great. So now talking about established business owners.
Sure.
People who, I guess, are in that really tough growth phase, they're trying to get into that next revenue bracket, they're having difficulty, they're doing all the hours, it's a familiar story. I've got clients, I've been through it myself. So what would you give, in terms of advice, what tip would you give those people that are struggling to get to that next stage in business? Yeah,
look, the first thing I look at is how many hours are you working, and looking at breaking operations, or ops as I call it, from strategy. And typically when people are in that phase, they're possibly spending 95 to 100% of their time in ops, including admin, and they're stuck. They can't break free. They're like the hamster on the wheel. And so the first thing I do is, let's say you're working 50 or 60 hours a week, peeling off at least 20% of that for strategy work. So, and that's not in a linear sense, that's like in hours. So 50 hours would be 10 hours, a 50 hour week would be 10, 60 hour week would be 12. And spending that 10 or 12 hours on strategy. And that's business development, business planning, monitoring your cash flow, the things that actually are going to help you break free of that, creating collateral and content like this. When people are stuck, they want to change the picture, but they don't allocate any time to changing the picture. It's kind of counterintuitive. Yeah.
Exactly. No, that's great advice as well. And lastly, mate, I ask all my guests this: what's the best piece of financial advice you've ever received?
Look, definitely. I'm a fanatical reader, as you know. Definitely a book that was written probably closer to a century ago, which is The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a very thin book. It's a very simple book. It's a very repetitive message, but basically the message is pay yourself first. Don't pay yourself last. It sounds really obvious, but most people don't. So the premise is that you pay yourself first and you save at least 10% of your income. Now, if I had gone back and from the age of my first job saved 10% of my income, I would be a lot wealthier than I am now. It sounds like a small amount, but it's that whole thing that you know about, Karl, the time value of money, the rule of 7, all of that thing, around capital appreciating assets and compounding interest. It's boring, but it's just so true. And time is finite, and I think that would be my thing to a young person. If you're able to pay yourself first and save 10 to 20% of your income, life will be kind to you.
Yeah, that's excellent. Darren, thank you very much for your time. I hope all of the viewers get something out of this, because it's tough out there for business owners. And if you can reach out to people like Darren, some serious experience, you'll be better for it. So I'll put details in the comments section. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and thanks again, Darren.
Thanks very much, Karl. Thanks for having me.
No problem.